Hey, hey Gemini, happy January and happy new year. Thank you so much for being here. I am super excited to see what your cards have in store for you. But before that, I want to talk about a bit of a combination between channeled message from Spirit and an astrological perspective. What Spirit said is things are getting deep this month, and then the kind of what came in right after that was, well, that makes a fuck ton of sense, because there is a stellium, or a collection of planets right now in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house of sex, death, and other people's money. It's also the house of power and transformation. You could think of it as it's the 8th house, so it's like the 8th sign, which is Scorpio. So it's all that sex, death, taxes, power, addiction, like, is deep, okay? So for one thing, you can go read more about that. I have a blog. I forget to tell you guys sometimes that I write horoscopes, but you can go read more about the Pluto-Saturn conjunction, what that's doing for you specifically, over on writteninthestars.co. But for now, let's see how Spirit wants to tell you about this deep story unfolding in January. Okay. Whoa. Well, they did say, I mean, things are getting deep, and then it's like cups, 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 cups. Makes sense to me. You're leaving some things behind, Gemini. And it's not easy, but it's a good choice. I want to pull one more. Spirit, tell me a little more about this change, this transition, what this change is bringing about. Holy shit. Okay. Well, it's getting deep, and leaving certain things behind is making the right choice. Gemini, some of you may be doing things as quote unquote simple and straightforward as like leaving a job that is like, you're not paying me enough. This isn't good enough for me. Some of you might be leaving behind relationships where it's like, I'm putting everything into this and this is not feeding me. It could be some other situation that where it's that same feeling of like, I'm pouring and pouring and pouring into this, and it's just not giving back to me. Spirit said things are getting deep. Then they brought up your 8th house. How does your reading start? But with the 8th house card, the 8 of Cups, depth, leaving things behind, going forward, having to take this leap of faith where it's like, I don't know what's ahead of me, but I do know what's behind me, and behind me, that ain't it. It wasn't fulfilling one way or another. The 8 of Cups is like, I gave all this time and effort and energy and emotional investment, and I'm just not feeling it. Well, your cups will be more than replenished. There are new, beautiful splashes of emotional energy entering your life this month, Gemini. You might be getting some sweet messages. You might be getting some people saying, hey, we support you in this thing that you're doing. So even if these other people don't support you, or this other situation didn't support you, you have us, okay? 3 of Cups is the foundation of your reading. The Page of Cups is crossing it. These are both cards of very sweet, celebratory, very positive energy, which is going to do you a lot of good. Because if you're feeling like this, if you're feeling like, ugh, I'm not looking forward to it, maybe you've already walked away. This is a general reading, right, for many Geminis. So some of you may have already walked away and you're like, yup, like, it sucks, let me tell you. Like, walking into the underworld, having no idea what that's going to bring is a little scary. Going deep is really scary. But the help that you need and have been looking for and wanting is not where that is. It's forward. It's forward. There are people, some of you might have some Taurus placements, because you've got a couple of similar, got some similar energy about things opening up and it being time to kind of like take off in a way. Broadening your horizons, accepting new cups instead of the old ones. Admitting where things maybe aren't working. Admitting where also, this is what they're saying for some of you, you might need to ask for help. There is support available. You just may have been going maybe to the wrong place or to the wrong people for that support. Spirit is now playing looking for love in all the wrong places. Some of you, this may really be like a breakup situation or like a situationship breakup situation. You may need to acknowledge where you're not getting the support that you need, and that an exit is basically the most dignified and the most powerful and empowering thing that you can do. Not because of revenge, but because of justice. Because like, wait, you know what? This isn't even about like I'm taking this personally or any shit like that. It's just like when I look at this, this is out of balance. This is a card of imbalance. If I want things to be right, then I have to speak my truth, I have to walk my talk, and I have to make a decision about what works for me and what doesn't anymore. Some of you, Spirit just said balancing the budget. You have that Five of Pentacles, which is a card of poverty in one way or another. So for some of you, it could be that feeling of like spiritual poverty of like, it's not as if I don't have enough money or I can't pay my rent, but it's like, damn, I texted like 3 or 4 people just now about like what to do about this and nobody has answered me. That feeling of like unsupported. But for some of you, it may be that literal sense of like, well, like they said, balance the budget. Like, damn, there's just not enough. What am I going to do? How am I going to figure this out? It's time to balance the budget. And that may also be who you need to like ask for help. Some of you have this person around you, Knight of Pentacles. I feel very strong earth sign energy for obvious reasons, but it's also like who in your life is really good with their money, who in your life is really patient. That's what Spirit is saying about this person. They're very patient. They would be willing to do something like sit down with you and look at your budget or hear out your problems or give you advice. And I'm also hearing that you can fix this. Those of you that are having like any budget issues or like trying to figure out how to like make some improvements in your life or like maybe just like rearrange the money that you have to get some new things. Slow and steady wins the race. You can be quite an impatient character. You have this Knight of Swords in your future, clarified by that Magician card. So we'll talk about that in a second. But Spirit is saying, in this one case, have a quick mind, but make slow, deliberate decisions. Make all the lightning fast connections that you want, but don't make decisions in a split second. Don't sign papers in a split second is what they're saying for some of you. So very literally, like I'm feeling like somebody might be like, hey, I want you to do this, sign this contract. And if you sign it right now, like we can start this. Or like, hey, well, yeah, you can get in this apartment, but you know, I've got like 5 people waiting for it. So you better sign it now if you want this. Like, don't do anything where it feels like someone is pushing you and like hurrying you along. And don't hurry yourself along, especially when it comes to kind of very important long-term legal anything. Okay? Okay. You have the power in the situation is what Spirit is saying. Some of you may not fucking feel that way, and I just want to validate that, like that when you have these 2 cards, you might not be feeling like you have the power in the situation, but make no mistake, Gemini, you Quicksilver you. You know, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is Hermes, the messenger. That's who this magician is actually representing. You can make quick connections. You can synthesize information. You can create something amazing out of a simple, like, single flame, a spark, a creative idea. When you blow your air sign magic on the spark of inspiration idea you have, you can absolutely bring something to fruition. Heaven to earth, right? That's why he's pointing up and down. I bring my ideas, the ephemeral, into matter, into earth. I make them into something. I had an idea for this costume. There, I made it. I had an idea for this piece of creative work, this fan fiction, whatever it is for you. Bam, I made it happen. It was started as an idea. The magician makes the idea into something, right? What do you want, Gemini? What do you want to have in your life? What is in alignment with you? It's a new year and it's a new decade. What is in alignment with you? The Hermit is sitting here telling you Not that you're going to be by yourself. Certainly not, Gemini, you communicative thing, you. But sometimes, Gemini, you can suffer from like an overabundance of input. You know, like it's great to do research and things like that, but maybe sometimes you're looking at like 100 tabs on your computer and it's like, oh my God, my mental bandwidth. Like, let's focus and reduce. There's a lot here about walking away from what's not working for you anymore. So it's like, what's my new strategy going into 2020 with whatever it is that's like, I'm just not getting enough out of life right now. What would make me feel more fulfilled? What would make me feel like I was having more fun? What would make me feel like I was saving more money or building toward the future I want, or some goal that I want? Some of you, it's as simple as I need to open a separate savings account that says trip to the Caymans or whatever, and you're like, I'm gonna do this, god damn it. Like, if it's 2020, if it's 2021, if it's 2025, I am putting $5 in this account until I have the money to go to the fucking Caymans or whatever it is for you, Gemini. Begin. The magician is a manifester and a master manifester. So that is what you are, or that is what you can become, but only if you are willing to, again, leave behind that which isn't suitable, that which isn't serving you, that which isn't fulfilling you. And I'm not talking about walking into your job and going, aha, I'm fired, like, or I'm fired. Wow, definitely not that. I quit, I'm leaving, like, I'm out, screw you guys, I'm gonna, like, what? No, like, you can build a tunnel, you can build your transportation and get out, but now is the time to at least make the decision. Now is the time to do a little self-inventory with that hermit and be like, what do I truly want? This is the Mythic Tarot, and this particular depiction is when this young, poor, this poor human was tasked with choosing which of these goddesses was the most beautiful. And he had to give them, you know, the golden apple. Like, who is the most amazing? Is it Hera? Is it Aphrodite? Is it Diana? And you have to make a similar choice. They're all amazing. They could all be great, but you can't give each of them the golden apple. You might need to narrow down this month. That's what I'm really feeling, Gemini, is like you have a lot of wonderful ideas and a lot of sparks. But what's the one that's going to feed you? What's the one that's going to fulfill you? What is the one that excites you? Make more time for that. Make more time for the magician in you this month. This Lover's card is a card that so many of us love to see in our reading for obvious reasons. For one thing, hello, the Lovers. Who isn't looking for that soulmate feeling of love and devotion? Some of you are leaving behind shitty relationships. I'm sorry. Maybe they're not shitty. Maybe they're unbalanced. Maybe they're unsatisfying. Maybe they're ultimately not going anywhere. You're leaving that behind because there is something that will take you somewhere. Whether it's a job, whether it's a new relationship. You need to take what resonates with you in this reading, Gemini, because I'm hearing both. For some of you, it's like, no, I'm kind of done with love for a little while anyway. I just left this relationship. I'm not looking to jump into the new one. So what I'm looking to do is get to work on this aspect of my life for myself, because I know I'm going to feel so fucking amazing when I get this area of my life in the order that I want it, when I manifest what I want as far as this new house or this trip or this person or this job, whatever. What do you want to manifest, Gemini? If you focus on that, you can create maybe a swifter change than you were expecting. That's what Spirit is saying, because you have this Knight of Swords energy in you regardless. But you can choose whether it manifests, keyword in your reading here, it manifests as impatience and just quickly moving because you're just tired of being in one place, and so it's like, oh, anything's better than this. Or if you apply it to the think tank part of the decision making, not the decision itself, but the pre-decision, the think tank. What are we going to do? We can do this, we can do this, and you kind of got like a whiteboard full of things, and then we start erasing. And I want to do this. Well, this doesn't seem fun. Well, I don't feel like this is going to make me enough money. And then, from the mess, we mine the gold. We mine the magic. You mine the magic this month, Gemini. And that is going to take you to a beautiful, amazing decision. Like, ooh, my God. The silver chalice or the golden goblet? Which one do I want? They're both great. It's going to get easier to choose as you walk away from the things that are no longer serving you. You're upgrading your value and you're focusing. You might be doing less in January, but it's going to mean more. I like it. I like it, Gemini. What does that mean for you? Let me know down below. Questions, comments, stories. I love to hear how this is manifesting for you or not this month. And I really hope that this helps. Thank you for being here, Gemini. I appreciate you. And if I don't see you in a video before then I hope I see you in your February reading. Bye, Gemini.